This is the live podcast with Manuel, living in full expression. Welcome to the live podcast with me, your host, Manuel. And today we're going to be talking about something that's going to make you very, very uncomfortable. And that is that the future of your personal growth is being redesigned right now, this minute, and you might not even realize it. Because here's what's happening. AI isn't just helping you anymore, it's deciding for you. And the scariest part, you're letting it. Let me paint a picture for you. It's 7 a.m., your phone buzzes, time for your meditation. You didn't decide to meditate, the app did. It knows you meditate at 7 a.m. It's been 3 days since your last session. You open it. It suggested a stress reduction meditation because your smartwatch detected elevated cortisol yesterday. You didn't know your cortisol was elevated. The algorithm did. And after meditation, your fitness app recommended a recovery walk instead of your planned run. Why? It analyzed your sleep, 5.5 hours, fragmented, and decided you need rest. Your productivity app recognizes your to-do list. Write chapter 3, which is what you had on your to-do list, and it gets moved to next week because your completion rate dropped 47% when you are sleep deprived. Your meal planning app suggests high protein, low carb lunch options. It knows you're trying to lose weight. It tracked every meal for 47 days. By 9 a.m., you've made 0 decision. AI made them all for you. And now here's my question for you. Whose life are you building? Is this your life you're building, or the one an algorithm has optimized for you? And that's what we're diving into today. If you finish this episode and you don't change at least one thing about how you use technology, you didn't listen in the first place. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, let's start with the obvious. AI is everywhere in personal development now, and I mean everywhere. You've got mental wellness coaches that analyzes your speech pattern for depression markers, habit trackers that predict when you will break a streak and intervene before you do, journaling apps that identify cognitive distortions in real time and suggest reframes, goal-setting platform that adjust your target based on your historical completion rates, meditation apps that customize session length based on your biometric stress level. And look, on the surface, this sounds incredible, right? Wow, technology that knows me better than I know myself, that can predict my needs, that optimizes my growth. I'm sure that's what you might be saying. But here's what we are not talking about. These aren't just tools anymore. They are decision makers. Let me show you the shift that happened. And I bet you didn't even notice it. Let me take you back to 2020. In 2020, you decide, I want to get healthier. You choose to exercise 3 times a week. You pick the activities. You adjust based on how you feel. You are in control. But from 2025 to 2026, where we are right now, AI says, I should optimize my health metrics. Your fitness app analyzes your data and designed a program. It adjusts daily based on your recovery scores. It tells you when to push and when to rest. And here's the kicker. It knows you better than you know yourself, right? So that's what we tell ourselves. The algorithm knows me better. But does it? Or have you just stopped knowing yourself because you've outsourced self-knowledge to an app? I want you to think about something and be honest with yourself as you listen to this. When was the last time you made a decision about your personal development, about what to work on, what to prioritize, what goal to pursue, without checking what an app recommended? If you can't remember, you're not alone. And that's the problem. We've moved from I decide to AI suggests. But here's the dangerous part. the part nobody's talking about. We've moved from AI suggests to I trust AI more than I trust myself. Let me give you a real example. One of my clients, let me call her Louise, came to me frustrated. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm following all the recommendations. I'm doing everything the apps tell me to do, but I feel empty. So I asked, what do you want to work on? She stared at me, genuinely confused by the question. Finally, she said, well, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I do what the algorithm says. Do you see what's happening here? Louise stopped asking herself what she wanted. She stopped checking in with her own desires, her own intuitions, her own sense of direction. She outsourced her internal compass to an algorithm. And the algorithm, it's optimizing for engagement metrics, not for Louise's authentic growth. She doesn't know that because app feels helpful. It feels like it's on her side. And that's the most dangerous part of all. Let me break this down and tell you what's actually happening. Because this isn't about demonizing AI, not at all. But this is about understanding the shifts. We are living through a rise of what I call the algorithmic self. It's the version of you that exists in data. The you that's been quantified, tracked, analyzed, and predicted. And here's the thing, the algorithmic self isn't you. It's a model, a prediction, a statistical representation based on your past behavior. But we are starting to trust it more than we trust our actual selves. Why? Because it's confident, it doesn't doubt, it doesn't second guess, it doesn't shame us. It says, based on your data, you should do this. And we think, well, it analyzes thousands of data points. It must be right. But here's what the algorithm can't tell you. What you actually want versus what you've historically done. What would change you to grow versus what would keep you comfortable? What aligns with your values versus what optimizes for completion rate? What feeds your soul versus what checks a box? The algorithm doesn't know these things because these things can't be quantified. And yet, we are letting the algorithm decide anyway. So here's the first big question I want you to sit with. Are you using AI as a tool? Or has AI become your decision maker? And be honest, because the difference determines whether you're building your life or whether your life is being built by AI. All right, let's talk about optimization because this is where it gets really, really interesting. AI is designed to predict and optimize. That's literally what it does. It finds the most efficient path from point A to point B. And efficiency sounds great, right? Doesn't it? Who doesn't want to reach their goals faster, easier, or with less wasted effort? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Authentic growth isn't efficient. And I want to say that again because this is critical. I said that authentic growth is messy, inefficient, and unpredictable. And that's not a bug. That's a feature. Let me show you what I mean. When you do things the human way, when you are leading your own growth, here's what happens. You try something, it fails. You learn why it failed. You adjust based on self-knowledge. You develop resilience through struggle. You discover unexpected insight along the way, and that's growth. Now, here is the AI optimized version. So AI predicts failure before it happens. AI adjusts your path to avoid it. You never fail. You never struggle. You become dependent on optimization and you never learn to navigate uncertainty. You see the difference. In the human version, failure is the teacher. In the AI version, failure is eliminated. And when you eliminate failure, you eliminate learning. And let me give you a concrete example. Say you're learning to write. You're working on your first book, for instance. Now, here is the human way. You write a chapter, it's terrible, you rewrite it, still bad. You struggle, you eventually figure out what works for your voice, your style, your message. The struggle builds your skills. Now, look at the AI way. You write a chapter, AI suggests better words as you type. AI restructures your sentences for clarity. AI analyzes successful books and guides your structure. Now, your chapter is better, more polished, more optimized. But did you get better? Or did the AI just make you look better? Think about that. And here is where it gets really problematic. Over time, you stop searching for your own words. You stop developing your own voice. Your vocabulary stagnates. Your creativity atrophies. The AI made you better today, but stunted your growth long term. This is what I call the optimization paradox. The most efficient path to your goal is often the worst path for your development, because efficiency eliminates struggle, and struggle is where growth happens. Now, maybe you're thinking, but Manuel, what's wrong with avoiding struggle? Why suffer if there's a better way? That's a fair question anyway. But here's what you're missing. Not all struggle is suffering. Some struggle is transformative. Think about physical training. If you only lift weights you can easily handle, you never get stronger. The muscles growth happens when you struggle with the weight that challenges you. It's the same with mental, emotional, and creative growth. The struggle, is what forces you to adapt. And adaptation is growth. When AI optimizes away the struggle, it optimizes away your opportunity to adapt. You get comfortable, efficient, competent at following directions, but you never develop the capacity to navigate without directions. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed that you can't do things anymore without looking it up? Can't remember anyone's phone number because it's saved in your phone? Can't navigate without GPS, even in your own city? Can't make a decision without checking reviews first? Can't start a project without researching the optimal strategy? That's not efficiency, that's dependency. And the more we optimize with AI, the more dependent we become. And here's the paradox in one sentence. AI creates the most efficient path to your goals, but efficiency isn't the same as growth. So now the question is, what are you actually optimizing for? Are you optimizing for outcomes, or are you optimizing for becoming? Because if you're only optimizing for outcomes, that's for achieving goals, for checking boxes, for hitting metrics, then sure, let AI guide you. You will get there faster. But if you're optimizing for becoming, for developing capacity, building resilience, discovering who you are, then you need the struggle. You need the inefficiency. You need the mess. And here's what nobody's telling you. The apps, they are optimizing for their metrics, not yours. They are optimizing for daily active users, session length, retention rates, subscription renewals. They are optimizing for engagement, not for your growth. And often, what keeps you engaged isn't what helps you grow. I want you to think about that. When does an app suggest you take a break? When does it say, you know what? You've used this enough. Go do something that doesn't involve me. It never does that, because that would hurt their metrics. So instead, they keep you optimized, engaged, and dependent. And you think it's helping you, but it isn't. Or are you just becoming efficiently mediocre? Think about that. Okay, we need to talk about the real issue here. And it's not just about efficiency, it's about autonomy. Your autonomy, your ability to make independent choices, is under threat. And the threat isn't obvious, it's subtle, incremental, almost invisible. Let me show you how it works. There are 3 stages of algorithmic influence, and I bet you've experienced all 3 without realizing it. That's stage 1, the helpful assistant. This is where it starts. AI says, based on your goals, here are some suggestions. Or based on all I know about you, here are some suggestions. Here, you're still in control. Here, AI is a tool. Here, you evaluate the suggestions and you decide. This feels empowering. This feels like technology is serving you. And it is actually at this stage. Then you move to stage 2, where you have the AI becoming the trusted advisor. This is where the shift happens. AI says, I've analyzed your patterns. You should prioritize X over Y. Notice the language change. It's not here are options. It's you should. And you start deferring to AI because it knows you better, because it has the data. Your confidence in your own judgment starts to decrease. You think less, you trust more. And then you gradually move to the hidden director. This is where it gets dangerous. AI says, I've adjusted your goals to be more achievable. Wait, did you want to adjust your goals in the first place? Or did AI decide you should want small goals because it increases your completion rates? And why does AI care about your completion rates? Because higher completion rates means better user satisfaction scores, which means better retention, which means more revenue. At this stage, you're no longer asking, what do I want? You are asking, what does the AI recommend? And here's the critical question. Whose goal are these anyway? Are these your goals or the goals of AI? Let me tell you about Mark. I'll call him Mark, another of my clients who came to me because he felt stuck. He said, I'm achieving all my goals. My apps show I'm consistent. My metrics are great, but I feel empty, like I'm living someone else's life. So I asked him, tell me about your goals. Why did you choose them? He pulled out his phone, showed me his goal tracking app, and I said, no, I don't want to see the app. I want to hear from you. Why these goals? He couldn't answer. Finally, he admitted, I know. The app suggested them based on my data and they made sense. So I just went with it. Mark was achieving goals he never actually chose. He was living an optimized life designed by an algorithm, and it felt empty because it wasn't his life. It was the life the algorithm predicted he should want. Now, here is where this gets really, really uncomfortable. The erosion of autonomy is so subtle that you don't notice it's happening. It happens like this. You stop asking yourself, what do I want to work on today? You check what AI recommends instead. Your intrinsic motivation, that internal drive to grow because you want to, gets replaced by external validation from an algorithm. You become less connected to your own desires, more responsive to algorithmic nudges, and eventually you can't tell the difference anymore between what you want and what you've been nudged to want. And let me ask you something, and I want you to really, really think about this. When was the last time you pursued a goal that made no logical sense, that the data won't support, that an algorithm can call inefficient or unlikely to succeed? If you can't remember, that's the problem. Because the most meaningful achievements in your life, the ones that actually transformed you, were probably the irrational ones. The ones where you ignore the odds, the ones where you followed your guts instead of the data, the one where you chose passion over probability. But AI doesn't do passion. AI does probability. And when you let AI guide your life, you start optimizing for probability. You start pursuing only the goals that are likely to succeed based on your data. You start playing it safe. You start becoming predictable. And predictability is the opposite of growth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. AI isn't evil, but it's eroding your autonomy anyway. Not through force, but through convenience. It's just so easier to let the algorithm decide, to follow the optimized path, to trust the data, and slowly, so slowly, you don't notice. You stop being the driver of your life. You become the passenger. And here's the question I want you to sit with. Are you driving your life? Or are you a passenger being driven by algorithms? Because if you're a passenger, you need to understand something. You are not heading where you want to go. You are heading where the algorithm has determined you should go. And those aren't the same thing. All right, so we've identified the problem. AI is subtly reshaping your intrinsic drive. It's optimizing the way you struggle. It's eroding your autonomy. Now the question is, what do you do about it? And let me be clear. This isn't about rejecting AI. This isn't about going back to living without technology. This is about reclaiming agency in a world where algorithms increasingly shapes your choices. This is about using AI as a tool, not letting AI use you. So let me give you 5 strategies, 5 ways to reclaim your inner compass. Strategy number 1, practice analog reflection. Once a week, just once, no devices, no apps, no AI. Just you, a notebook, and 3 questions. And here are the questions. What do I actually want? What feels authentic to me? And number 3, what would I pursue if algorithm was watching? Write your answers by hand without AI assistance. And here's the key. Notice the difference between what you write in this analog moment and what your apps are recommending. If there's a gap, if what you want differs from what AI suggests, the gap is where your autonomy lives. That gap is you. Stage number 2, intentionally choose inefficiency. I know this sounds crazy in a world obsessed with optimization, but hear me out. Sometimes take the long route deliberately. Write the first draft without AI assistance. Solve problems without immediately Googling the answers. Struggle before you seek help, because struggle is where learning happens. Efficiency gets you to the direction. Inefficiency transforms you along the way. And remember what we learned in the previous episode. The journey matters more than the destination. So stop optimizing away the journey. Strategy number 3, question every suggestion. This is critical. Every time AI recommends something, every single time, pause. Don't automatically accept it. Don't immediately trust it. Ask yourself, does this align with my values and goals, or am I just trusting the algorithms? Would I choose this if AI hadn't suggested it? Is this moving me towards who I want to become, or towards who the algorithm predicts I should be? Make conscious choices, not automated ones. Strategy number 4, build self-knowledge through self-discovery. Here's a critical idea. Experiment without tracking outcomes. Try things because you are curious, not because an algorithm predicted success. Don't log every meal. Don't track every workout. Don't analyze every result. Just do things, experience them, notice how they feel. Because self-knowledge doesn't come from data, it comes from lived experience. And when you're constantly measuring, you're not fully experiencing. You're performing for the algorithm. So stop performing and start experiencing. Strategy number 5, set irrational goals. And this is my favorite. AI optimizes for probability. It suggests goals that are achievable based on your data. But you know what? The most meaningful achievements are often improbable. So set a goal that excites you, even if it's inefficient or unlikely. Set a goal that makes the algorithm say, that doesn't match your historical patterns. The moment you say this, I want you to know that you're reclaiming yourself. And that's very good. Because you're not trying to match your historical patterns. You're trying to become someone new. And becoming someone new requires doing things the old you won't do. Now, let me give you a practical framework for all this. I call it the AI autonomy audits. 5 questions. Answer honestly. If you say yes to 3 or more, it means that AI has crossed from tool to controller. Question number 1. Do you check AI recommendation before making decisions about your day? If your first instinct is, what does the app say I should do, instead of what do I want to do, this is a red flag. Question number 2. Do you feel anxious when you can't access your AI tools? If your phone dies and you panic because you don't know what to eat, when to work out, or what to prioritize, that's dependency, not empowerment. Question number 3. Have your goals changed to match what AI says is achievable? If you've lowered your aspiration because AI suggests they are unrealistic based on your data, the algorithm is controlling your ambition. Question number 4. Do you trust AI's judgment more than your own intuition? If you feel something is right for you but dismiss it because the data says otherwise, you've lost connection to your inner compass. And lastly, but not the least, question number 5. Can you articulate why you're pursuing your current goals? If your answer is because the app suggested it, or because the algorithm said I should, those aren't your goals. So, how would you do? If you answer yes to 3 or more, we've got work to do. But here's the good news. Awareness is the first step. Now that you say it, you can change it. And let me tell you what changes when you reclaim your autonomy. You stop optimizing for completion. You start optimizing for transformation. You stop following paths. You start creating them. You stop being predictable. You start being authentic. You stop becoming who the algorithm think you should be. You start becoming who you actually are. And that is where the miracle happens. Because the most valuable version of you isn't the optimized version. It's the authentic version, the unpredictable version, the version that can't be algorithmically determined. So, all right, let's bring this home in closing. We are living in a moment right now, January 2026, where everyone is setting goals, using apps to track them, letting AI optimize their approach. And I want you to think about something from our previous episode, something I learned this past Christmas. The preparation, the journey was more exciting than the day itself. Not because the day wasn't good, but because the journey was transformative. Every gift I searched for taught me about the person I was buying them for. Every meal we planned with my wife taught me about creating experiences. Every detail I coordinated taught me about patience and attention. The preparation didn't just lead to Christmas. The preparation was Christmas. And here's what I keep thinking. What if AI is optimizing away the preparation? What if it's so focused on getting you to the destination efficiently that you never experience the transformation that comes from the journey? Because here's the thing. AI can make you better today, but only you can make yourself grow. Growth requires struggle, which AI tries to eliminate. Growth requires failure, which AI helps you avoid. Growth requires uncertainty, which AI reduces. Growth requires discovery, which AI predicts away. And here's my challenge for you. Don't let AI rob you of becoming. Use it as a tool. Question its suggestions. Maintain your agency. Protect your intrinsic motivation. The most importantly, remember this. The most valuable version of you is the one that can't be predicted, optimized, or algorithmically determined. The most valuable version of you is authentically, unpredictably, messily human. AI can help you get better, but you can decide what better means. So, whose life are you building? Yours or the one an algorithm has optimized for you? You get to decide, but you have to decide consciously. Because if you're not making the choice, the algorithm is making it for you. And remember this, the goal isn't to reject technology. Not at all. It's a tool. But the goal is to remain human while using it. To be authentic, autonomous, and alive. And hey, one more thing before we go. After you finish this episode, I want you to try something. Turn off all AI recommendations for 48 hours. No habit trackers, no productivity apps, no algorithm-driven suggestions. Just you and your judgment. See what happens. See what you discover about yourself when no algorithm is watching. Then decide from a place of choice, not dependency, how you want to use AI going forward. Share what you discovered. You can tag me on social media. You can send me an email. I want to hear what happens when you reclaim your autonomy. Go and be human. This has been the Life Podcast with me, your host, Manuel. And until I see you in our next episode, keep living in full expression.